Welcome to episode 1 of Core and Commerce, the show where ambition, mental health, and physical well-being intersect to reveal the whole human behind the brands we know and love. Because our success is only as strong as our risk of burnout. And the era of the faceless founder is officially over. We're starting off hot. Red hot. Our first guest is Lauren Dovey, founder of Heat Healer and CEAN, visionary behind infrared products that literally keep up with the Kardashians, wife and mother of 3, and living proof that yes, you can absolutely pivot from spreadsheets to saunas. Lauren, welcome to Core and Commerce.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being my very first guest and believing in this vision.
I'm so excited and I'm so proud of you.
For the audience, it might be beneficial to start off with going way back in the time machine.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, now you are a badass female founder, visionary, inventor. Were you always this way? What were you like as a child?
I definitely did not start out being a badass powerhouse, but I definitely was always dreaming up some crazy idea. I remember we had this tree in our backyard, it had this little hole in it, and I imagined carving it out, and I drew up plans that had like an amphitheater and it had like a dance studio, and like I just was always dreaming up crazy, wacky things. I think I always just knew that I wanted to do something that was different and new in the world.
So you were always creative.
Yes.
What were some of those early hobbies when you were a little girl, even though you were shy, but some of those early indicators that you were, like you said, building tree houses, but what kind of hobbies did you have growing up?
I love rollerblading, mountain bike riding, being in nature. I would tinker in the garage with wood. And when I was in high school, I actually did design and technology, which was a class of boys, and a lot of them were doing woodwork. So, I was doing that sort of stuff.
Sounds like you also had a bit of a competitive edge growing up, which probably plays a factor today as well.
Very competitive. I also was a competitive skier when I was in high school. So I started skiing when I was 2.5. That was my meditation. A very expensive meditation.
Especially nowadays.
My dad was really into it. He only started when he was about 30, and I was like the son he never had. And he would take me down. It was like a 5-hour drive, and we would just go ski like all weekend. Like I still ski down the mountain like I'm doing a race. It's pretty funny.
I think that totally tracks. Like I think there's a few common themes with entrepreneurs. Creativity is one. Competitive edge is one. I think those are important to kind of feel you. So as you got older, let's go to kind of like preteen, high school era. Where did your hobbies kind of shift? How did they evolve? What were you into in that stage?
I was like experimenting with myself. So I would change my hair color all the time.
Wait, what was the best one? Did we go pink? Blue?
It was the worst one. Like we start with the worst one was like, I don't know if you guys in America had this stuff called sun-in, but it was like this spray.
Oh my God, are you kidding? As a natural brunette, I would spray my hair with that to the bits because my sisters were blonde and I was so jealous because I was the youngest. I was like, how do I look more like them? Sun-in. But I think it's terrible for your hair.
It looked really orange. It looked like, it was like so orange. It looked terrible. So that was probably the worst. But I slowly kind of got I went black and like black hair, and I don't know, I just did all this stripe, everything. Found my groove and what I liked. But I think I was just really into that side of, beauty and fashion as well, just trying to find my way through it. My family was not into it at all. So I was just desperately trying to find my way when I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you were kind of in your feeling it out era, trialing, error, kind of like seeing who you wanted to be.
Yeah.
And ultimately, from that stage, talk to me about uni. How did you kind of transition into uni? What did you end up studying? And how did that kind of lead into that?
So I grew up about an hour and a half away from Sydney. So it was more of a regional town. Could not wait for the minute. I was bored there. I wanted to get out into the big smoke and like just be stimulated and be around new people and new experiences. So the minute that I turned 18 and I finished school, I was out of there. Definitely went through another phase where
she's a girl of eras. Okay,
yeah,
she's like a Taylor Swift.
I had my eras. I started doing architecture. I love design so much. Like I was talking about, when I was designing that stuff, I always loved that stuff. But I was doing the drafting, and back then there was CAD, and it was so boring. Like I was just that side of it. I could not see myself doing it. I kind of like the higher level stuff. So I ended up doing economics at Sydney Uni and changed, and I finished that degree. But yeah, I guess I went through I went through my party phase and meeting lots of new friends and just, finding my group of people and finding where I love living as well, which I've found that place, which is Bondi.
I think that's such a formative stage in everyone's life, right? You kind of flee the nest, you go off to uni. It's the first time you actually get to pick your own friends. I think growing up, they're kind of thrust upon you in whatever school your parents sent you to. And so it makes sense this was kind of your stage in life where maybe you blossomed. Like you said, do you think this is kind of where you broke out of that shy shell that maybe you felt like when you were younger?
Yeah. My parents were very concerned.
Yes. But this is also where you met your husband, right?
Yes.
So that kind of is indicative of this being kind of like a blossoming moment.
Yeah.
So, okay, you're feeling yourself. You're at uni. You're having fun partying. You've met the love of your life. Maybe you don't know yet. Yeah. But what did you do after school? What was your first job? Did you get right into entrepreneurship, or did you take a more safe, practical path, which many of us fall into that trap?
I wanted money to go and buy my own clothes and do my own things. I mean, I started working in a cafe, and then I worked at Woolworths.
Like being a bad girl?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, you're a hustler.
Yeah, I was a hustler. I actually had 2 jobs in high school. Like I was always working. I just wanted to get some money. So when I had like a decent amount of money when I came to Sydney. I worked at this place called Jeans West when I moved to Sydney, which is this, I don't know, denim shop.
Oh, a denim store. Okay.
Yeah, a denim store.
Wait, was it for the US viewers? Was it trendy, or was it like
no? They were really good on like getting you to know your benefits and features of the product.
So you probably learned a lot of good lessons actually from that.
I did, and it was like a chain of stores as well. I worked in bars. That was very fun. And then during the day, I would also work at Ralph Lauren. I did that for a bit. That was amazing. I really loved that. They were really good at storytelling. But then I'd work at the bar at night, and then I'd work at Ralph Lauren in the day, and they used to call me like the rock star because I'd come in after a late night shift. So I mean,
a little banged up and then going into your luxury fashion role.
This is such funny memories that I have not thought about for so long. So anyway.
It's good to take a trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
So when I first met you, we kind of bonded over something that I like to call the Sunday evening gut test.
Mm-hmm.
Many of us have been in the corporate grind.
Oh, yeah.
In a role that's a little soulless.
Mm-hmm.
And counting down every minute until the day is done. And then on Sunday night, you feel that little churn in your stomach and you just feel that anxiety tightening, knowing that you have to go in on Monday morning. Your first job out of uni.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I actually got this job during my last year of uni. So I did like the internship for the summer. And it was at one of the big 4 accounting firms. It was just so intense. My husband would call me like the winter when I would come home because I would just be so like spaced out and not myself. And I remember looking at the clock and it was like when I'd go in there and it'd be 9:15, I'd be like, oh, how am I going to make it through?
Right.
And they also had billable hours. So you had to be accountable for every 6 minutes of your life.
Yep.
And yeah, I don't know how I did it, but I stayed there for 3.5 years. I met some really great friends there. So that was good. We had some bonding.
Yeah, trauma bonding, right?
Trauma bonding.
Everyone's like, oh my gosh, when is the day ending? And then you go to happy hour and then you get to know these people outside of work.
Yeah. And then this opportunity came up for me to work for this company called Havaianas, which makes, the flip-flops. And they have, it was huge in Australia. And it was a much smaller business. I can't tell you. I went there and I was given like sort of free rein to like really get into things, and my creativity blossomed. I was exposed to all the different areas of the business, like the design and the marketing and even accounts and everything. And I think it was the best basis for me to start my own business, everything that I learned there. Even the color ranging, because 80% of their business would be selling like top black, which was like the standard black thong. But I kind of see how I can apply those learnings to CEAN now. So it was actually really cool.
I mean, it's so funny you mentioned colorways because obviously Pilates is kind of my universe and color is king in that industry, especially with just like athleisure and wearables. There's not a lot of variation in the design, but people get so excited about a color drop. We've kind of seen throughout your growing up, there are themes of creativity. There are themes of, that competitive edge, definitely some early stage of hustle and wanting to get out there and kind of form your own thing. But let's talk about your wellness empire and what stage in your life sparked this interest in wellness specifically?
I was not feeling good in my body. I have PCOS, which I didn't know at the time. And I would have fluid retention. My legs would feel heavy and not feeling good in my body. So I was always into wellness. Like I was always into exercise. I was always on to the new wellness trend. And I was always trying to heal something that I wasn't sure what it was. So that I think started for me when I was in my mid-teens. Then I think it was after I had 3 babies in 2 years because I had one daughter and then I had twins 2 years later and my body completely changed and I had varicose veins and fluid retention and stretch marks. Everything was going on with my body, anxiety. And one of the modalities that I used to use all the time in Bondi was the sauna. And it was something that I wasn't able to use very readily because I had 3 kids at home and a husband that was actually working in the corporate. He now works with me, but he was in a corporate job.
He's seen the light now.
He's in the light. He was there sort of 7 till 6 p.m. and I was at home with these 3 babies and I wanted to sauna and do something for my self-care when I was at home, which I think is really important that everyone, you're giving so much to everyone else that you need to give back to yourself. I saw sort of a concept of a sauna blanket and I got a sample from a manufacturer, was not happy with how it was being made and I just was like, I want to make this, the smell, everything. I wanted to make it from scratch myself. And I was like, this is the perfect time. I've got these 3 kids at home. I've got I know that it's really busy having 3 kids, but I had all this thinking time in my head to be able to actually execute something like that.
So do you think the tipping point moment for you of really, going all in on being this wellness entrepreneur, do you think it was driven by some of your personal experience and your wellness journey? Or do you think it was driven by that entrepreneurial fuel? Or do you think the special sauces you needed to have that moment where the 2 things kind of intersected at the same time?
It was the 2 things. I actually can see it.
Yeah.
Literally, it would literally seeing it because it was the fact that I had 3 kids and I was also really did not want to go back into corporate world either. Like having these 3 kids at home, I wanted some sort of flexibility to be able to, I saw when I was in the corporate world, these parents that were having to really scramble. And I did have my eldest and I was in a corporate job. It just felt really unsustainable. Like she was falling asleep in the car when I pick her up from daycare and I'd giving her dinner and it was just absolute chaos. So it actually allowed me to slow down and have more time for them, but also have a creative outlet. In Australia as well, I don't know if it's the same in the US, but daycare and childcare is incredibly expensive.
Exact same in the US. Just disgustingly expensive.
Crazy expensive. So to put 3 kids, because of their ages, in there, it was actually going to cost me money to go back to some sort of corporate job.
Yeah.
So that was it was the tipping point because I think deep down I was like, I always thought, how do people do this? How do they put themselves out there and have enough guts and the money to do this? But it kind of was it was also almost forced upon me.
Pretty brave that you took this plunge after having your girls. Can you talk a little bit about maybe some vulnerabilities you were feeling in that moment it's obviously quite cushy to go back to the corporate gig, right? They have built-in maternity policies and it's a softer landing pad. It's kind of what were you anxious about maybe at that time?
When you have children, and you have that break from like, because I was such a hustler. I was working from 13. I feel like my work was my identity to an extent. So when you have that break, you're like, who am I? And do you know what I mean? Like you have all these questions. So not having something to go back to. And I remember going to some event with a bunch of people and there was someone I didn't know, and this guy that I didn't know, his first question was like, what do you do for a living? And I hadn't at that stage decided anything. And I felt so shameful that I didn't know what to sort of say, that I work for like XYZ company like everyone else that was there. So there was a little bit of shame.
I got really good advice recently just as I'm starting up my own founder journey, which was you just need to say that you're doing it. Even if you're, pre-seed, infancy stage, just say, oh, this is what I'm doing. Did you do any tactics to kind of increase your confidence?
I said that.
Right? Like, I love it because I'm like, you know what? They don't know. But what are they going to look at my LinkedIn? Great. The LinkedIn verifies the same thing, right? So did you have any good internal tactics that you would kind of do at that time to be like, no, I am that girl?
That's when I really got into manifestation. Like I would do the Joe Dispenza. I would imagine myself as this successful like person and like even picture, the size of the business and everything and the lifestyle. And I'm literally like, I am living that life right now. So it really works.
I've recently gotten into manifestation as well. And I truly believe.
Oh, watch out.
Yeah, no, true. It's like good things are coming now. I started putting stuff on my fridge, just like visual manifestation. And I swear it's come to me in abundance. So I don't think that's all totally woo-woo.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've spoken to people about this before. I really don't think it's woo-woo. I think that you basically, if you pull it back, it's like you setting your goals and what you want in your life. But then as long as you're putting aligned action to like, it's not just wishing and hoping, it's actually doing aligned action that's moving towards those goals.
I think that's a really important distinction.
Yes.
The aligned action, because I think there's a lot of fodder on social media that's like Mercury is in retrograde today and just reach for what you want and it'll all come your way. But it's one of those things. It's the harder you work, the luckier you get. So it's have that North Star, have that vision, but you also have to go out and chase it.
Yeah, totally. That's what it is. Sometimes you can have days where you're like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's like have to snap myself out of it when you're just like, oh, it's not working. But you have these days and then you're like, oh, wow, it's worth all the little things that add up towards, and then one day you'll be like, oh, wow, I'm actually here.
Totally. Those moments where it all clicks is probably the 1% and the 99 is the hustle. And then you have those days. Can you give us one example of a day where, recently there's just been that moment where you're like, I am on the right path?
Today. Like literally today I was just sitting there doing some work, replying to some emails, and it just popped up that Kourtney Kardashian just posted you. And I was like, okay, 100. I think she's got 200 million followers or something like that. And we've been working with Poosh for 5 years. And I was just like, oh, that just became like a normal thing.
Isn't that so good? You're just in your sleepy rollover and you see that on LA time. You're just in Poosh cash.
Yeah.
No big deal.
And normally I'd be like calling everyone I know, being like, oh my God. But I was just like, oh yeah, that's just like normal now.
I kind of love what you just said there because I think you have reached that stage. You started Heat Healer 6 years ago. You've just launched CEAN. We're going to get into that in 1 second. But feels like you've reached this place of that quiet confidence. And can you talk a little bit about early days celebrating wins versus now it sounds like you hold them a bit more dear? Do you have any advice for entrepreneurs who are going through that?
When you're starting out, those early wins can feel so huge because it's like you're starting from a low base.
I guess now, what was kind of that turning point for you where you didn't feel like you needed to blast out to every friend and family member, every small win with your business? Where did you reach that point of quiet confidence where you were like, I'm self-affirmed enough to know that these little wins can just live between me and Mike, my husband, or me and my team?
Entrepreneurship is the most insanely crazy experience I think you can go through in terms of self-development. I think it shows all of your insecurities.
Not for the faint of heart.
No. So I think that at the beginning I was needing that self-assurance that I might have had when I was maybe a teenager or, needing someone to tell me, oh, you're doing a good job. Because when you're working on your own, who's telling you that you're doing a good job?
ChatGPT for me. I call him Chatty G. Chatty G gasses me up most of the time. But yes, back then, 6 years ago, who was it?
I feel really confident in myself. I've done all this work on myself. I've done the manifestation. I see a therapist and I work. It's not to do with anything like, that's really like heightened at the moment. Like I do have anxiety, generally like low level anxiety, but I just like getting into the weeds with her, and I like to find out about myself and, what happened when I was 3 and why I'm doing this, and work all those things out because it all comes to light. There's still things that trigger me. Like how you're talking about the competitive edge. Like I get really triggered by competitive things sometimes. Like
fair. You need that fuel though.
Yeah.
Right.
But
if you were like revenue, P&L, not a big deal. We're just here to have fun. You wouldn't have a successful business.
Yeah.
This is a perfect transition. Now that we are in our business brain, we're fired up. Let's talk about the incredible brands that you've built. So when I first met you a year ago, we were seated next to each other at a birthday dinner, and you told me about the first inception of Heat Healer, which is your first brand. And I think it's really important for listeners to know that you did not found a fluffy, girly brand. You founded a science-backed, badass product that has real medical benefits. So can you take us back to some of the science behind what you've built?
I don't think that anyone really may understand like the complexity of the regulations, all of the stuff that goes behind a heated electrical product, safety, everything.
What consumers see on Goop and Poosh is many years of all of the R&D
stress and
science.
Money, all of that.
Talk to us a little bit about the science behind first Heat Healer, and then we'll get into CEAN.
Yeah. So the reason that, I wanted to start, the sauna blanket is our hero product, and that's the one that we started with, was the benefits. So there are so many benefits of sauna use, but the problem is that it's really hard to find a sauna. It's expensive to set one up. And this product, you can literally just, it gets delivered to your door, you roll it out, you plug it in, let it heat for 20 minutes, and then you're soldering and you're getting all the benefits. So cardiovascular health, it mimics the effects of exercise. It is helping your skin regenerate. It's helping your mitochondria. There's so many benefits of sauna.
So you shared with us that you were diagnosed with PCOS. I have friends who also have a PCOS diagnosis, who have fibromyalgia. For people with more of these, chronic illnesses, many of which impact women primarily, what are, some of the specific benefits of your products?
Yeah. So for me personally, I have PCOS, and the sauna is amazing for basically you have fluid retention, hormonal shifts. Like when I ovulate, I put on like 2 kilos of fluid.
Amen.
Just love it,
Curse of being a woman, right?
Yeah.
there.
And then, you get your period and everything. And then, so heat is amazing for that. With the sauna, like there's a lot of people that say that we don't need support with our detox pathways, but I absolutely do not think that is true. We live in a very toxic environment. And any support that we can do to help, like, there's the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, there's all of these things that add to our toxic load. So using a sauna basically helps to excrete all those extra toxins and fluids. And when you've got PCOS or hormonal fluctuations, it actually helps with the extra hormones that are being stored in your body. So it helps to regulate those. And for me, that is literally the tool that I always come back to.
So we live in an age of the quick fix. It is the GLP-1 era, Botox every couple of months. Can you talk about the importance of evergreen wellness and really incorporating wellness ritual into your everyday instead of going to these quick fine-tuned touch-ups?
Yeah. So that is literally the purpose of Heat Healer and CEAN, actually. I wanted to make all of these products to be something that you integrate into your everyday life. So even though it's really easy to plug in and use and heat up and everything like that, I also wanted to make it look really beautiful and aesthetic so that you want to use it. So we put like crystals in our products so that it not only does it look beautiful, but it heats and distributes evenly. But having something like aesthetic in your house, it's like literally like our sauna dome, it like looks like a beautiful occasional chair that's in your living room. So if it's just there and you can easily use it, or, the body belt, if you're watching like, your favorite show or something, you can literally just put it
Dancing
on.
with the Stars finale.
Yeah,
You're home
just
with
put it on. Like just have it there and put it on. And then it's easily integrated into your life. It's not something that I feel like I get on these quick fit because I was loving all these wellness trends that come up. It's really fun. But it suddenly like can be, if it's something that's too hard and it's not like something that you habit stack onto your everyday life, it's just not going to be sustainable.
So I'm from LA. So when you say crystal, I'm like, I'm all in, love it. But I think some people who are less deep into the wellness world might say it feels a little woo-woo, it feels a little nebulous. What do you mean when you say there's crystals integrated into the product?
When I brought out the products, I wanted, how I told you, like when I got that first one from the manufacturer, like the smell, everything was like not it. Like I've got a really heightened sense of smell, and it was just like it just smelled wrong. So I wanted to bring an element of nature into everything that we have in Heat Healer. So it has like a bed of crystals, but what those crystals actually do is not only do they look beautiful, but they help amplify the infrared emissivity, and they distribute the heat evenly onto your body. So it doesn't have like patches where it's like heating in one area and then it's not, distributed nicely. So that is the main reason that we use it. And just having that natural element, it just feels so like it's very grounding.
I love that. I have to say, we did have a Heat Healer pop-up at my Pilates Gang launch event. And I just think the aesthetics as well. It's very aesthetic and chic and crisp, and especially having in your home or for events, things like that. It very much aligns with, that Hoosh and Goop audience, which is a very good transition to, you had a pretty pivotal moment in your business with Heat Healer. And the buzzword I'm going to say is Kardashian.
In 2021, we were selected for Courtney's pick for the Poosh gift guide, which just completely changed the trajectory of our business.
And was that completely organic?
Yes, that was, that was, and she gifted it to 50 of her friends and family.
Some traction.
There was some traction. I mean, it was like the stamp of approval.
When a celebrity endorses your brand, that is, I think, for many founders, that is like the golden nugget, the thing they wish that would happen. But can you talk to us about what the weeks following that looked like? Was it just sales going gangbusters? Was it, PR opportunities? Just what was that immediate impact?
Surprisingly, a lot of micro influencers are more like in terms of like direct sales. It wasn't like a huge sales push. You have someone like Courtney supporting your product, like that's where the PR story comes from, and it's what gets the clicks.
When you were developing this product, obviously you said there were some issues with the smell maybe early on, but can you tell us a funny story of just like total product flop as you were in those early stage of development?
Like our first batch that we sold, that I learned so many things in a very short period of time. So a massive control freak. I decided to have from the manufacturer our first 200 pieces of sauna blankets delivered to my apartment that we were living in while we were building a house. Didn't really get the concept of how much space that would take up in our apartment with three very young children.
Okay, so you were trying to be a real hands-on founder and quickly realized that you have to relinquish some control throughout the process.
Absolutely.
I'm kind of going through that right now with doing these pop-up Pilates events. It's like every little thing I want to place the water bottle and the protein bar. And, my team is like, no, we can help you. You have bigger fish to fry. And I'm like, no, but if you just turn it a little bit to the left, it'll be perfect. So this business, it's been so successful. And I think you're kind of at the stage where, you have established that quiet confidence. It's kind of serving itself at this point. But just a few months ago, you transitioned a very popular product of Heat Healer, which was wearable lymphatic leggings, into a whole new venture. Introducing CEAN.
So many people write every day the most beautiful comments about how much it's helping people with their health and wellness. Then we started getting all these questions about, why isn't it made with plant-based, and can you do different colors and different shapes, and I don't want arms, and I top and bottom everything. And I was like, this feels like it should be maybe its own brand.
So you've kind of parlayed from Heat Healer, maybe more of the science-backed, it's kind of infrared, right? And it's more like medically driven and wellness benefits, to CEAN, I think of as almost your next fashion empire.
So, with wellness benefits.
With wellness benefits, which is the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So for someone who's, done routine lymphatic drainage massages, maybe they're into colonics, they're kind of in that detox space, how does the product actually work to activate your lymphatic system?
Yeah. So each CEAN piece is a wearable lymphatic massage, and it works with graduated compression, which is like a pump. It's tighter at the extremities and it's pushing your circulation and your lymphatic flow towards your major lymph nodes. It has a 3D pressure pattern that's on the inside, and it's gently stimulating and activating your lymphatic flow the whole time that you're wearing it. It leaves light impressions on your skin. They'll go away in like 20 minutes, but that's how you know that it's working. And you feel light, lifted, you'll feel depuffed, your skin's going to glow. It has health and beauty benefits, which I love. I'm wearing it right now.
It looks so chic. And this is kind of what I wanted to highlight with the transition to the fashion element, is like this: throw on a blazer and you're going to work. We had CEAN pieces at my Pilates gang launch event on Sunday. We had all of the girls in the biker shorts, the bra. I was wearing the romper. And everyone has since texted me saying they feel snatched, they feel de-bloated. They're like, what is this wizardry? Can I wear this every day? So the benefits are truly there. And I can also attest to the imprints on your skin if you wear it after a long day. Like, it's truly working for you. Many of our listeners are probably more body inclusive, body diverse. Is this a fit for everyone, or is it specifically for a certain type of consumer?
We are hoping to have it to be a mass market product because the benefits are there. There's actually a large part of the female population that are recommended compression for their health and wellness. And the solutions that are out there are just not cutting it. And I had that same problem. Like, I had these awful varicose vein stockings that were like sweaty, synthetic, and just, oh my gosh, they were so gross. And I've since burned them.
And you don't want to wear something that screams like, I'm working on something medically, or I'm trying to fix something that feels off in my body.
Yeah.
You look chic, you look elevated, and no one would ever know. So you also introduced me to a product at the Pilates Gang launch event, which was a jaw product.
Yeah.
I have TMJ, and I know that that's a benefit of the product, but how does that work?
I've always had TMJ issues. It's
Hot girls have TMJ.
Yeah, everything that we've come out with is like basically I've got it, so I'm trying to solve it. Like our de-bloating underwear as well. Like the sculpt, so you can turn it around, use it as a headband, which is cool. So you can wear it during the day. You're not going to like walk around like a plastic surgery patient.
Right.
It has the 3D lymphatic pattern, and it's also plant-based, which a lot of those other face sculpting ones are made from like nylon, which is very sweaty and plasticky. But it's basically pushing all the lymphatic flow towards your ears, and it's neatly holding your jaw in place so that it tries not to like do what it wants to do during the night.
Okay, I need it. I've been doing it since you showed me how to use it, but it is so invaluable because TMJ is one of those things that so many women are particularly prone to. So that's just another thing.
It's the worst.
It is truly the worst. And sometimes I get like a ringing in my ear.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, and it throws off your whole day.
I feel like it's entrepreneurs, it's like overachieving women that all have it, and we're all sitting there like all day just like going like this.
And then insert a migraine, insert limited sleep, and you've just got a full trifecta.
Now it's all about the nighttime wind down for me. Start my morning, like I think I get an injection of cortisol when I wake up, because I wake up and the US has been awake for a good 5 or 6 hours.
Every time I roll over and look at my phone, it's 6 a.m. and I'm like, well, the day has started. Am I starting behind? But it does kind of give you a little bit of fuel because you're like, sweet, let's go.
Yeah. So I'm on.
Yeah.
But then I've got to so I'm up, and then I need to land into the evening. So I'm really trying to work on that. So at the moment, if I can do a sauna 90 minutes before bed, it gives you the best sleep. It's such a heavenly, your muscles are all relaxed. There's actual science to back that up, because it raises your core temperature and then drops it suddenly. So you've set for really great sleep.
Do you have any strategies to prevent burnout specifically? You mentioned manifestation and, some affirmation and things, but specifically burnout, is there anything that comes to mind?
Okay, so I had a mentee B last week, so this is really fresh in my mind.
So healthy, by the way. We're always due for clear out the pipes, have a good cry, crash out, move on.
I feel like it's every 3 months for me now. It's on,
yeah,
but
it's
I know
the calendar at this point.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a red pen, crash out today.
I knew it was going to happen. I mean, it's Black Friday week, so no doubt. I'm running 2 wellness brands. I've got the 3 kids. They've got their own social lives. I feel like a taxi driver on the weekend. I don't really have a lot of time for myself. When that happens, there's actually a place that I go down South Coast. It's Osborne House. And it feels like a little bit like White Lotus vibes.
Oh, love.
Because everyone's kind of there doing their own thing. And I don't know, it's just very calm. And they've got a sauna. They've got a pool. They have beautiful beds, really gorgeous interiors. So I feel really lit up there as well.
So do you think it's kind of every so often you need to clear out the pipes, do a little wellness moment, maybe a weekend away, and just totally quiet the mind?
Yeah. And try not to look at my phone.
When I say this phrase, do you resonate? You can have it all, just not at once.
I've got a lot to say.
Yeah.
I feel like life is really crazy and you can have it all at once, but you have to work out what the balance is and what you can give and take. You can have it all, but in this hour.
I mean, balance is a pretty important word for you because you are actually business partners with your husband.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a pretty unique marriage and business partnership. How do you navigate when it's time to turn off business brain, go back into being husband and wife? How do you guys set those boundaries for yourselves?
We are still learning, by the way. It's been 2 years that he's been in business with me. I think it comes back to our values. We both have really strong values together and what's important. So while there can be everything going on, we're really both lit up by our business and driving it forward. So I don't know, we tend to actually just talk about our business. It's kind of like our passion together.
What does date night look like?
Business strategies.
business strat, and then, we have 3 daughters too. Let's integrate that into the conversation.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about, you have 3 gorgeous girls, and they're kind of entering that preteen age, right? I'm also one of 3 girls. And
love that.
I feel that when I was growing up, the way that, my mom would talk about wellness and things is very different from how I talk about mental health, wellness, taking care of myself. And it's totally a generational thing.
Mm-hmm.
But how are you, talking to your girls about the role of wellness and staying, fitness-wise, mental health-wise? What is that conversation you're having with them like?
I'm trying to give them the things that I didn't know that I needed to do, at the end of to bookend your day, to have something to soothe, have a hot bath or something like that. I'm trying to integrate things into their life that's going to help them. Because no doubt, I'm sure, they have anxiety like I had, and they may get PCOS. So I'm trying to just give them those tools that they can take on with their life.
I love that so much because thank God we live in a different era where we're able to talk openly about some of our medical struggles, our mental health struggles. I even think about growing up, some of the things that I was going through with my mental health. There were really no resources, but really at the end of the day, it was, coping with signs of, early signs of depression and some things like that that I've later worked through in adulthood. And now I'm super open with my friends about some of my mental health struggles. And I guess now with young girls, what do you think are some of the biggest things that they're navigating? Social media and just, all the
we're
things.
Opening Pandora's boxes.
Yeah.
It's so intense. I feel really fortunate that we didn't have as much of that. It was coming in sort of towards my late teens. But they are just exposed to so much stuff. Even that whole Sephora, thing that they're, my 2 8-year-olds are just asking for all this stuff. And
isn't that crazy? I was home making videos with my girlfriends, on a camcorder, doing Britney Spears dancing.
know.
I was not asking for a 12-step skincare routine at that age.
They're literally asking for that. I'm trying to just get them off the devices, spending time with their friends as much as possible, out in nature. Holidays is a really big family thing for us. Skiing. I'm we are a ski family. So if that gives
Phone's down, phone is in your pocket. We're skiing today, girl.
If they have trauma from that, I'm sorry.
Do you think they appreciate that you are wearing so many hats? Or do you think it might take them getting a bit older to understand really all that goes into your day-to-day?
I feel like that is a thing that, kids can definitely overlook. But I definitely communicate with them all the time how much they like even one of my daughters, she's really she's really fiery, but she keeps on they don't have devices at the moment, and she keeps on taking my laptop, and I'm like, babe, I need to actually do legitimate work. And she's like, well, what have you got to do? Just post on Instagram. And I'm like, then I show her Shopify, and I show her the website, and it's actually given them a little spark in them, and they try and make their own little businesses. And my daughter Violet, she's the quiet, she's probably more like me, very creative. And she came to me with a business plan the other day, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so proud of them. I love it.
She's going to be taking over the empire.
Yeah.
One day. You have been an amazing mentor to me as I've gotten started. And, evidenced by the fact that you've agreed to be my first guest on this podcast, Sight Unseen, taking a chance. And I think it just speaks volumes. And I think it speaks to the fact that, you really practice abundance and putting a lot out there, and you've gotten so much back. But that's not always the case with, women executives, women founders. How can some of these listeners who are looking to find their tribe, looking to find a mentor, someone who has kind of paved the way, how can they go about establishing that network?
I was really impressed by you the first time that we ever met. But I just saw this drive in you that I was like, it's like you start to just you're like, she's my people. You know what I mean?
100%. I remember you said to me one time when we were getting coffee, I was like, yeah, I guess I could go back to, doing corporate marketing. And you were like, nope, took my coffee, and you're like, you're going to be wasted in the corporate world. You've got to go do your own thing. Simply no.
Yeah, no. I mean, I can very much see why someone would want to hire you. I saw your drive, and I was like, I need to be friends with this girl. So whether you liked it or not, I was going to come after you.
Do you have any advice for people just starting out in their career? Maybe they're, a hungry 22-year-old fresh out of uni, and, they have great insights to offer someone who's more established in their career, maybe around social media, or we talk a lot about UGC strategies. How can they best pitch themselves to someone to get that foot in the door and maybe have that initial conversation?
So many things about social media that I feel like I call myself a boomer with, because I'm just at that, I'm not exposed to it. So I need to learn, and I am learning from younger people. So I feel like I want to know what they think, and I want to know why they think that. And I want to hear their opinion.
100%. I think there's a reciprocity angle here of, especially with the rise of AI and just things coming out, you don't want to fall behind by not having, wonderful younger people in your toolkit who are coming out fresh out of uni with, hey, here's, Sora and how we can use that for our business. We've always heard the expression old boys club, right? And that's existed, especially here in Australia, for a long time. The wellness world is largely dominated by women. I think that's, a trend we've seen. Do you think that we are getting better with establishing the women's version of, that kind of boys club element where we're lifting each other up and, vetting each other for opportunities and helping open those doors?
I mean, I've got 3 daughters. I'm so excited for them that it's changing, because it was not, I think even 10 years ago, it was not the case. But I mean, we had that example when you had that event just, recently. I was like, it makes my heart sing, seeing all these different women coming together. They're all helping each other. They all see how it all lifts each other up.
So true. Rising tides really lift all boats.
Yeah.
And we saw that with this, Pilates launch event is everyone seeking connection. Everyone was mingling. There were a bunch of women in the room who were instructors looking for new work. And it's when we do get together in the room, we realize that this scarcity mindset of, there's only one spot at the table for the woman, I think is quite antiquated and outdated. And the more that we can have those kind of roundtable type discussions, I think all the healthier. One other piece that I think is unique to, you've spent a lot of time in LA. I'm from LA. I'm trying to break into this Australian market. Tall poppy syndrome. Talk to me about your observations between being an entrepreneur in the LA market, that kind of American dream hustle culture, everyone roots for the underdog, to the Australian vibe, which is very much kind of this tall poppy thing.
I know, it's so funny. That's why I think it's really funny that we met, because I have so much of my life going on in LA, and it's such a contrast to when I come home and I'm like, such a different world. That's why I love going over there, because it's not that. Like, everyone is hungry and everyone's like doing something and going, yeah. So I feel like when I come home sometimes, I've only just more recently felt like expanding my roots here. Like, most of my business is in the US, but I'm like, why am I so quiet here? But I feel like it is a little bit of that. And you do see examples of female founders like getting sort of taken down or cancelled or whatever. So I felt like I've kind of like been under the water a little bit.
Why do you think that is? Is it just a cultural thing here that nobody wants to be too big in their britches? And if they do, they feel...
Why do we do that?
I've certainly observed it. I don't know how to crack it. I will say, especially in just establishing this podcast, trying to get amazing guests on, people are very receptive.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just put a good pitch together and kind of say, this is what I'm trying to do, it's a little bit off the beaten path, I'm trying to do something a little bit creative, a little bit different, it has been really well received.
Mm-hmm.
I think there might just be a cultural element where, people aren't as conditioned to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But then you realize once you put something out there, oftentimes you're met with very positive energy and people are like, oh my gosh, great, I've been meaning to do more networking. LA, that's in the DNA.
Yeah.
I think here in Sydney, it takes a little bit of an extra push.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is why what you're doing is like so great.
Do you have one piece of advice for a woman who is you 6 years ago? They're dreaming of starting their own wellness brand. They've just started up their TikTok. They're doing some R&D. They're finding a manufacturer. What would you go back and tell yourself to get started and get started impactfully?
To just get started and to start something, and done is better than perfect. I'm a massive perfectionist. There was probably a handful of businesses that I didn't start because I just was too scared to put the idea out there. Have even if it's just starting an Instagram where you're posting things and you're posting your inspiration, or just start somewhere, do something.
Take messy action.
Whatever it is, get your, make something, put it on your friends, get some feedback. So the hardest thing about starting a brand and having a successful business is having an audience that resonates with something. So as quickly as you can find that out, even if it's the product isn't exactly how you want it, just you need to make sure that there are people that want to buy it. So the quicker that you can do that, and that you validate that your business has a cause and a reason to go forward, the quicker that you're going to have success.
100%. And I think there's no such thing as a faceless founder anymore. There's
Mm-hmm.
no such thing as a brand without a mission behind it.
Mm-hmm.
People want to buy into the story. And, some of the wellness journey that you shared of your own, people want to try your products because they resonate, because they have PCOS, because they have TMJ,
Mm-hmm.
because they've had flare-ups and, things along the way. That's the why.
Yeah.
It's not that someone's like, ooh, this product is really chic and it was in Poosh. It's and the founder has a really compelling story,
Mm-hmm.
behind why she's doing that.
Yeah.
I'll also say I just completed business school at Sydney Uni. And
Congratulations.
Thank you. And the thing they drive home day after day after day is that the number one reason startups fail is lack of problem validation and customer validation.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing you should do when you start a business is go out to customers, test, iterate, and get it right for them before you've put together an MVP or
Mm-hmm.
done anything.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas most founders, myself included, I go straight to solution mode. And
Yeah.
I've got a little ego involved where I'm like, my idea is the best. It doesn't need any revisions or notes.
Also, it's very scary going out and getting feedback first. That feels
totally.
really exposing.
Totally, especially if it's your baby, because when something's just an idea and it's in this little soft little incubator, it's safe. And it's, and it's close to your heart. But then when you go out to someone and they're like, wouldn't pay for it, or would pay half the price you think that it's worth. It's like, oh my God, my ego is just in a super fragile state. But it's so, so critical to do that before you get going, because a year down the line, you're going to be having invested in, a full suite of products and not a customer in sight. So do you think that, for someone who's maybe just getting started, there is an importance to kind of build a platform and establish a customer base early on?
Absolutely. And I think especially now more than ever, because there's so much noise out there, the minute that you can connect and people you've got this relationship with your customers or even an audience, and they can trust you and what you stand for, I think that, it's going to work really well.
Okay, we're going to do some rapid fire
Mm-hmm.
hot takes. We have a wellness expert in the building, so we need some of your tea. What is an American trend you've observed from traveling to LA that Aussies need to adapt? Stat.
That's so many.
Julie, sometimes I feel like the beauty and wellness industry here is in the Stone Age. And I'm like,
It
guys,
is.
take a trip to LA and you
Okay.
can get all of the lasers in your face tomorrow.
So, like, I was at the Proper Hotel and there was this place called Remedy Place, and I think they do little pop-ups every now and then, but one of the girls that does these B12 injections, she just walked past and she saw me and my PR girl, and she was like, hey, I owe you that B12 shot. And she like just gave her a B12 shot at the Proper Hotel at lunch.
I love her.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was just like, is this happening?
No, I have a girlfriend who's from Korea, and she's like, oh, you have to come visit me and my family. And I'm like, yeah, totally. And I'll also be getting salmon sperm and all of the other injectables that are legal here in Australia.
That's a wellness holiday. Yeah.
What do you think is an overhyped wellness trend?
Ice baths. For women, especially with hormonal issues, it can really drive your cortisol crazy.
That's going to be quite triggering to your Bondi community.
Yeah.
Who thrives on saunas and ice baths.
I do like I'm not totally against them. I do have ice baths. I just think like the timing of your menstrual cycle is really important. You don't do it on the first day of your period at all. Just be mindful. That's all I'm saying.
It's everything in moderation also. I think when people go into these like crazy cleanses or crazy detox or anything just like over the top, that's when it's bad for you. But I think if you're like, once a month I do an ice bath.
Yeah. Yes.
What is a piece from CEAN that everyone needs in their capsule wardrobe?
Everyone needs the lymphatic leggings.
Okay. I already love them. So yes, everyone, I can attest. What is a wellness tip you would scream at yourself 10 years ago to have implemented then?
You need to keep things going every day. Like consistency is key. So if I can get a sauna session in like a few times a week and some red light therapy. I love red light therapy as well. But movement every day for your mental health. I need to be outside, vitamin D, going for a walk.
I'm going to bring us home. What are you most excited for in 2026?
I am really excited to expand CEAN and scale it and get it on as many bodies as I can.
What do you want your impact to be as a founder, as a mother, as a badass woman in business? How do you want to be remembered?
This is going to sound really corny, but it's the reason that I call the brand CEAN is that I want women to feel seen in their bodies. And that's something that I did not feel when I was going through my teens and early 20s and when I had my pregnancies. I didn't feel seen. I felt really uncomfortable and just not good in my body. And now wearing my products, I do. I feel really good. And even the Heat Healer products, like, if I get into a funk or I have lots of anxiety, I go back to the sauna blanket or the body belt, and it's something that really helps me calm down and like gives me a boost and relax and releases all those feel-good endorphins. So, yeah.
At the end of the day, all we want to do is be seen and heard, right?
Totally.
I love that. Okay, we're both manifestation queens. Let's manifest. Let's end it on a manifest.
Oh, I love that.
Where do you want to be on this day next year? Or where will you be on this day next year, because we're speaking it into existence?
Wow, where will we be? I feel like we will be having another podcast, maybe in LA. We will be talking about what we've done in the last year, which is going to be amazing because I can't wait to see what you get, like what happens with you in the next 12 months because you're a powerhouse.
I love that. We'll be in LA shooting this. I will have had a crazy Rolodex of guests.
Crazy.
And we'll just be recapping like, wow,
we're going to recap. We're going to recap.
So good. Lauren Dovey, thank you so much for being our very first guest on Core and Commerce. You are the best.
Thank you for having me. It's been amazing.